In our policy think tank, we must fight corruption, and we definitely must look at the other side.
In the days leading up to his assumption of office on May 29, President Bola Tinubu promised to make corruption unattractive through appropriate incentives. Although the Renewed Hope Agenda document of the administration did not give the fight against corruption a place of prominence, the economy component of the plan states how the administration intends to approach the challenge of corruption in the country. This came to the fore when the finance minister listed the 8-point recovery plan. The Renewed Hope Agenda listed the following as the plan to fight corruption: reforming the civil service to fight corruption, reduce bureaucracy, streamline agencies, decrease inefficiency and waste, streamline the amount that government spends on itself, weed out ghost workers and ghost projects and expenditures, and reduce the overall cost of the federal government. The Tinubu-led administration also illuminated plans to continue the anti-corruption reforms of the previous administration. To accentuate his resolve barely 2 weeks after assuming office, President Tinubu sent a strong anti-corruption signal by suspending Mr. Godwin Emefiele as the governor of the central bank while ordering a probe of the nation's apex bank. He also approved the indefinite suspension of Mr. Abdulrasheed Bawa as the chairman of the Economic and Financial Crimes Commission.
Corruption prevention should be high on the agenda of this administration. Rather than chasing people and trying to put them in handcuffs, I don't think this president has time for that. It's to stop the money from going in the first place. The levels of corruption that we have are what you would describe from the literature as an inefficient kleptocracy. People are stealing, but they're not working. In many other climes, people have been stealing, work has been going on, and they have been developing.
In the 2022 Transparency International's Corruption Perception Index, Nigeria is ranked 150 out of 180 countries, an apparent pointer to Nigeria's inability to halt corruption.
Nigerian officials are still not interested in ensuring that due process and accountable and responsible governance happen. We cannot continue to just assume that everything is well. The country is facing serious challenges. I think it is important that Tinubu administration should look at the national strategy on the fight against corruption. Let us review it. Let us make sure that every Nigerian play an important role in compliance and implementation of that strategic plan.
Many describe the nation's socio-economic situation as a huge gap between the aspirations held firmly by Nigerians at independence and the current reality. However, President Tinubu continues to assure that some of the measures taken, such as the fuel subsidy removal and the fight against crude oil theft, are imperative to holistically stifle corruption.
This administration has said that by the year 2030, they would like our GDP as Nigeria to move from 400 and something million to $1 trillion. So they're going to plug the loopholes in oil and gas accounting. That's for sure. So it goes still with what I'm saying, that if you are against, and your corruption is against the stated policy of this administration, you will find him to be a corruption fighter.
One thing has remained constant under the democratic dispensation. All presidents have devised means to fix Nigeria's anti-corruption conundrum. 63 years later, there is much to be desired as expectations mount.
If you remember, most of the coupists that came to announce the coup and also advance some reasons, including suspension of the constitution because it was illegal, told the whole world that they are taking over power because of corruption. The law against corruption is very robust. The leaders that are asked to handle or implement this law are very competent. But enforcing this to the latter is our major challenge. If you have leaders that can say, look, this is a cause of it, which is corruption, then we can together fight it.
Now, given the level of corruption in the country, the general consensus is that Nigeria needs more than just executive policies. Active participation from the legislature, judiciary and critical subnationals are considered key in the fight against corruption, as pundits continue to assert that development is contingent upon the right leadership. Gloria Umezuke, Channels Television News.